Most people think that they can't use their Etsy store to build their email list or drive traffic to their website. If you are of that mindset, you are of the wrong mindset. And my guest today, Lauren Shaddow, is going to tell you exactly why. She's an Etsy seller, an online business owner, and has had a very successful online-only jewelry company for many, many years. She's now the community manager and our Shopify and technology expert over here at Flourish and Thrive Academy. And she's going to talk a little bit more about how to use Etsy to grow your email list. Hey there, I'm Tracy Matthews. I'm the Chief Visionary Officer of Flourish and Thrive Academy and the host of the Thrive by Design podcast. I also wrote a book called The Desire Brand Effect, Stand Out in a Saturated Market with a Timeless Jewelry Brand. And I'm really excited to be here because I love helping jewelry companies and business owners just like you grow multiple six and seven figure businesses, doing what they love and building a great brand in all the things. So thank you for listening and thank you for being here today. And if you haven't done so yet, make sure that you subscribe to this channel, that you click that notification bell so that you find out anytime we release a new video. And if you like this video, make sure that you like it and share it with a friend. I think it will be super helpful to all the Etsy sellers out there who are trying to either move more customers to their online website presence or people who just want to, have more control over their business in general. You're going to find out a lot more why in just a moment. All right, without further ado, let's dive in to today's episode. Thrive by Design podcast. I'm so excited to have our community manager, Lauren Shaddow, here on the show today for the first time. Lauren, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, I'm excited to be here because we haven't introduced you yet. And I realized after running the show for a long time and also having people working for me for so long who are helping our students, I don't have them on the show enough. And so we're trying to do that a little bit more. So yeah. I'm excited to have you here for a variety of reasons. First and foremost, you're a jewelry designer. You've also taken a lot of our programs, and now you're our community manager. And on top of that, you're an Etsy and a website conversion expert. So you have you check all the boxes. So I'm probably going to be having you on a lot. I hope you're okay with that.
I'm totally fine with that.
Okay, cool. So just to give our listeners a little bit of background, why don't you tell us a little bit about your journey into jewelry and how you got to where you are now?
Okay. So I started making jewelry just as a hobby, as most people do. And I started just kind of putting some stuff on Etsy just to see what would happen. And that's kind of how I got my start. And then I was excited because I was starting to get sales. So obviously when you start getting sales and you get excited, you want to do more. So I saw more of a potential business instead of just a hobby. And then it kind of led me down some Googling and YouTube rabbit holes. But I found the Thrive by Design podcast and I started binge listening to it. So that's kind of how I got introduced to Flourish and Thrive. And I listened to everything. I was trying to implement all the stuff that I learned. And then I started to see things start to happen in my business. I was starting to make more sales and I was getting really excited. And then I was like, you know what? I don't want to work anymore. Well, not that I don't want to work. I didn't want to work at the job that I had anymore. I decided that I think it was a masterclass that I went on and I took Laying the Foundation after. And then I actually was able to eventually quit my job. I was a salon manager and a hairstylist. So I replaced my salary as what I was doing with that in San Francisco. And I replaced my full-time income and I was working for myself. And then I kind of got to a point where I was just like, what do I do next? So then that led me to SOS, which is now Momentum. And then I kept growing from then on. And then, so now I'm doing a little bit of, like Tracy, like you already said, I have a couple other things that I'm doing now, but I still do jewelry. It's just not my main business anymore. So,
well, I just want to frame that you made that a conscious choice to not do jewelry anymore as your main business because you went through some life changes. So
Yep.
you don't have to get into details of what the life changes were, but you can just mention like
Yeah, I mean, yeah, some transitions, lifestyle, cross country move. But I wanted a little bit more, because I was moving across the country, I wanted a little bit more of a location freedom, I guess you could say. So my business, my jewelry business is not as big as it was before. Like my product range is really, really limited, and I'm doing it in like a much smaller scale because it's more manageable for me. Before I was like, I was tied to my studio. So for me, it was a conscious choice to do something a little bit more like I can work anywhere.
Yes.
So that's what I wanted to do. So that's where I'm at.
And because she loves all the tech and all the nerdy side of the business, and I mentioned this because she's so smart with like the technology piece, which I think a lot of us get stuck on. And so one of the ways that Lauren, because she didn't mention this, I know this, so I'm just going to say this for you.
Go ahead.
One of the ways that Lauren really was able to grow such a successful online business is because she used her Etsy shop to build her website traffic and to build her email list and to convert those Etsy customers into her customers. Because we know that a sale on Etsy is a sale for Etsy. Even though you're selling your product, it's not your customer. And so today we're going to talk a little bit more about, even though Lauren's a website conversion expert, we're going to have her come on and talk about that later. We're going to have Lauren today talk about how to ethically build your email list using Etsy, which I think is an amazing topic of conversation because I know a lot of people probably want to hear about that.
Yeah, right? For sure. Yes. And thank you for adding that. So yes, I did. I started on Etsy, but I kind of transitioned into Shopify, and that's obviously where you want to have a website, and you want to have your own business outside of Etsy. And yeah, so thank you.
Yeah. So I wanted to mention, just say this, why did you decide to only do an online business for your jewelry business?
To be honest, I don't really have a solid answer for that. It just kind of happened, and I liked it. And I am a little bit more introverted, I guess you could say. So doing shows, and I thought about doing shows, but honestly, it just seemed like so much work, having to prepare everything and have to have a whole display and do all that extra stuff. It wasn't something that I had time for. And it wasn't something that I really wanted to do. So online sales was just right for me.
Yeah. It's just kind of what worked for you, which I think is amazing. Because I know a lot of people say the offline is so easy, online is really hard, but you found a different experience.
Yes. Yes. I think online sales, I don't think that it's difficult at all. I think anybody can do it. So there's nothing that made me more special than anybody else. I mean, you just got to do the work, really.
Yeah, I know. I think a lot of people stop before the work happens. And that's why we have this workshop that I'm going to be talking about a little bit later called the Train Your Customers to Buy From You Online workshop that we're going to be hosting starting in August. And Lauren is going to be one of the co-facilitators, which is super exciting.
Yep.
Super excited. Okay, so back to Etsy.
Okay.
Etsy is an amazing platform. And I always say, I'm not against Etsy, but I think that people make a huge mistake in building their business on Etsy. And what I mean by that is that they don't have another way to get people off of Etsy buying from them other places online. And so they rely heavily on Etsy for sales. But, as we know, with the Etsy strike and everything that happened with the fee increases and all the stuff that people were complaining about in the spring, the Etsy is really in it for Etsy. They're not in it for the makers. And so that's all fine and dandy. It's really not surprising to me. I don't think it was really surprising to you either, was it, Lauren?
No, not at all.
Yeah. And so people get all emotional about it and in a huff, but the best way to actually take control of your business is to get those people who buy from you on Etsy to opt into your website. Even if it was just a fraction of those people, you start building your own audience. And so in one of our programs, Lauren has a training that she did where she basically walks our community through all the ways that you can ethically get off of Etsy and build your website audience. But today we're just going to focus on one. So I'm just going to hand it over to you. What are some of the ways that people can use Etsy to build their email list?
Okay.
Or how do you do it, I guess, without
Yeah.
getting in trouble?
Okay. So first of all, I want to just make it clear. So there's a lot of like confusion, and I see it in like different groups that I've been in, like for Etsy sellers. A lot of people don't think that it's okay to collect emails, which actually Etsy is like encourages you to build an email list. Like you can read their handbook, and like they have trainings on like how to build an email list. But like what you want to do is you have to first of all have something to collect emails. So like whether that's Klaviyo or like Omnisend or ConvertKit or whatever type of like email platform you're using. So obviously you need to have that first.
There's several. I think Shopify has one too. There's also
Shopify does,
like
yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. And all those that I mentioned, those are, I mean, it's like everybody's on a different one. So my brain's just kind of going on different apps and things. But yeah, so you first of all, you have to have one of those. And you have to basically get a link, a sign up link for your to drive those people to. And you just have to put that in different strategic places around your Etsy shop. So are you ready for me to just
Let's do it? Like where
tell you where to put them?
Put it, and like what are all the strategies? Tell us everything.
Okay. So first of all, like I said, you're gonna get that link. A lot of times if they're on mobile, they can click the link. If they're on the website or they're using the browser, sometimes they can't. They might have to copy paste it. But I mean, I still would put it everywhere that you can. Also, I would offer some type of incentive, obviously, some kind of opt-in to get them onto your list, because nobody wants to just sign up for a list just to be on someone's list. So I'm sure you have plenty of episodes about like incentives and things like that. So I would put that basically throughout your shop, like your listing descriptions. You can put it in there, like down at the bottom, like join my list, blah, 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 whatever your incentive is, and then have the link in there. Etsy does have like a bulk editing tool now, which it's been around for a while, but you can kind of go in and you can add something to the end of every listing or something else. Yeah.
Like a PS type of thing. So like,
exactly.
For 10% off, like join my email list or something like that.
Yep, exactly. So you can put that in the end of every single one of your listing descriptions, just down at the bottom. There's places also in your shop, like your main shop homepage, if you want to say that, in your shop announcement, you could put it in there. You can put it in your FAQ section. You can even have it like in a graphic, which Etsy does prioritize the shops that use all 10 images and video. So if you can, you should have every single image space filled. But if you don't have enough product shots, you can actually make like a graphic in Canva and like have your sign up link in that. Like I said, they're not going to be able to copy, or they're not going to be able to click it. Yeah. But also if you're doing with the link, you kind of want to make it like a pretty link. So it's not
like a short link. Yeah.
Like a short link. Yeah. So it's not going to be like a whole bunch of letters and things like that. It'll be like a nice, like whatever your email list is and like backslash whatever. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I'm gonna, I'll explain what she
means. Thank you.
And I want to unpack some of these things too. So as you keep going, I'm just making some notes over here. So what you would do is you would take like your website, like I'll just use mine for now, like tracymatthews.com/subscribe or email list or 10% or discount or something like that, where it would send them to an email list. And it's an easy thing to remember that doesn't require like discount dash 10% off dash mailing list or something like that. You want something very short and sweet and to the point that sends them right there. You can also use things like tinyURL or Bitly and stuff like that, but then that requires like weird letters and numbers, and sometimes it's harder to remember.
Right. Yeah. No, exactly. Yep. Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to say. So thank you. So yeah, you're going to put that link in all these different places. A couple other places that you can put it are, so what I like to do, and this is a little bit of work, But also, if you have help, if you have an assistant, you can totally have somebody help you do this. But when you get a sale, Etsy automatically emails the buyer, they send them the thank you, they send them like the shipping update and all that stuff, which you can put your link in those automated emails. But what I like to do is actually, well, I do customized work. So I like to just let the buyer know that I got their order. And I think that having that like one extra like personalized touch really helps, because it kind of makes some people are uneasy with shopping online, especially on places like Etsy and
Yeah, because
most
it's
places.
such a variety of people. Like I've had people, I was like, oh, I wanted this headdress. And then it's like in Czechoslovakia or something. Like you don't know if you're really going to get it or not. It's like,
Right. So there's just like that one extra step. And I use a canned email template, which Etsy does let you save replies in your message, in the little message thing on Etsy. So you can make like a whole reply and just customize it for each customer. And then also have your sign up link in that. And then what I do is I actually make like a signature. So it says my name, it says my email address, it says my website URL, and then it has my email sign up link underneath that. And that goes out to every single person that I communicate with on Etsy. So it kind of like subconsciously like lets them know like, hey, I have a website, I have an email, I have an email list, but you're not actually like telling them to go to your website. So that's like the difference. So you can't take
poach them and say,
exactly.
join
And
my mailing list.
you can't make them, and you can't tell them to go to your shop either. Like you can't tell them to go to your website. So you can't be like, oh yeah, well, I have more on my website. Like, but if they see your website URL and they know that you have one, they might just be like, oh, let me go look and see what else they have. So I think that that's kind of just like one little extra thing that's really been helpful for me, especially, but it also like kind of, it makes people trust you more, and they're more likely to be repeat customers because of that. Like I said, it's simple. If you're like a high volume seller, like you could totally just outsource that. So
super easy.
Yeah, for sure. So where else? I'm trying to think of a couple other
I have an
places.
idea. What about like when you ship a package, you can put like something inside the box, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So you could do like well, obviously you should have your business card. And personally, I did not put my Etsy shop link on anything. So like everything of mine, like for my business, it has just my business. Like I don't promote myself. I don't promote my Etsy shop. Let's put it that way. So like I kind of just promote my own business, my own brand. But also in the box, you could do like a inbox card, like an inbox offer card.
Yeah.
Like a incentive, either like a gift card or like a discount or whatever kind of, I know not everybody does discounts, but Etsy buyers kind of look for that kind of stuff. So if you're on Etsy, you might want to try it.
There's so many different things that you can try too. I feel like I've heard people giving away a free item. So they gave away like a free polishing cloth or a free stack ring or something for email list subscribes. Like, I'm not saying necessarily that that's the best thing to do, but there are a lot of ethical bribes that you can do to get someone to get on your list. And I actually agree with you. I think a discount for Etsy shoppers is actually a good thing to do. And you could even have it a separate landing page on your site. It's like, thank you and you could call it out like, thank you, for coming over from Etsy. We so appreciate you. Here's 10% off your first order on, laurenshadow.com or whatever it is.
Exactly.
Lauren Shaddow Jewelry. Is that what's your website?
It's laurenshadow.com.
Yeah, laurenshadow.com. So there's just a lot of different ways that you can do that.
Yes. Yep.
And sorry, you're about to say something else and I feel like I'm
not
letting you say it.
But I was also going to say like, that's another way to do, an inbox offer. It's a little bit off topic, but, like a referral program. Like if you have some type of incentive, like you could put that in the box too. And then like that could potentially get you more than one person back to your website. So
have you done a referral campaign before?
That actually, no, I did try. I was trying to start something up, but that was like before I kind of was like things got a little crazy for me. So yeah, I just never really followed through with it. But I have seen people obviously in our groups that do it and like are very successful with it. So I think that doing something like that and getting those customers who have purchased on Etsy, getting them onto your site and then having them refer other people to your site. Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
Awesome. Any other ideas for building your email list on Etsy? I feel like there's so many here. I want to unpack some of these first.
Let's maybe talk about it. And then if anything else pops up, I'll definitely let you know. Cause right now I'm kind of like a little all over the place.
Yeah. We talked about listing descriptions. So I feel like that's clear. You can just bulk edit your listing descriptions and have like just one little tagline, like sign up for my email list for X, whatever. And then with the pretty link or the short link that sends them directly to your email list.
Yes.
You can also do it on the main shop homepage. So where would they put that?
So there's a few different places you can put that. I'm actually going to pull up mine real quick on the side. Yeah. So there's your shop announcement, which is under the main banner. That's like, it's shortened though. So you want to make sure that you have maybe like some sort of call to action or incentive, like before the cutoff.
Okay.
So like, you don't have to have the link technically in that text box, but like, if they can see like, oh, I might get a discount, they'll click. Does that make sense?
Yep, totally.
Okay. So yeah, there's that. There's also if you scroll.
I have a quick question about the shop announcements. That's like if you were going to say like, I'm on vacation or.
It's for anything that you want it to be. So like,
it could be like, we're having a promotion this month.
Exactly. Exactly. The only thing with that is sometimes, well, it's Etsy, so it sometimes moves around.
Okay.
So sometimes it's front and center. Sometimes it's totally hidden. So, but I would still put it there.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
But yeah, it's basically any type of like update you want to say. It doesn't necessarily have to be like you're on vacation.
Cool. Where else on the homepage?
I would put that in like your frequently asked questions.
Okay. So these are all on the homepage on the Etsy.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly like an expert on how Etsy pages are.
Yeah. So it's all the way down to the bottom, but if you go to edit the page, you'll see it when you scroll down to the bottom. So like it's under the about section.
Okay, awesome. So you can have FAQ and it'd be like, could you have your email address in there too? Like your direct email address or no?
I believe that you could. I'm trying to see. So I don't have it in mine right now. But I believe you could have like a contact, like, so basically I would have in all of my listing descriptions, I also have like message me on Etsy or email, and then I have my email address. So like I do sometimes get emails and not Etsy conversations, although Etsy does prefer that you keep everything on the site. It does kind of just let people know that I'm a real business. I'm not just like somebody just making
just a random seller.
Exactly.
Okay, awesome. I love the idea of having it in a graphic like at the end of each listing. I noticed that when I'm shopping on Amazon, sometimes it has stuff like that. It's a little bit different because you definitely can't do that on Amazon, but like there's like a graphic with more information or something on it. This is a great way to incentivize people, like if you're using all the 10 photos or whatever it is.
I actually have like, this is just like a side tip. Sorry, I know we're doing it else, but I actually have like 3 or 4 different filler photos that I use because I don't have 10 product shots for everything, but I know that the SEO for Etsy wants to see those 10 photos. So like I have one that just has like a few different reviews. Like I made it in Canva. So that can be a filler photo.
Oh, that's great.
I have one that says need help. And then it has like, let me see. It has my email address and like how to contact me. So like basically like letting people know that I'm there. And then I also have a size guide that I made in Canva. So just a side tip, maybe for different different podcast episodes.
No, this is great.
But that stuff does help with conversions, obviously for sales, also on your website, because I use the same graphics on my site. And yeah, so another filler photo would just be like whatever your incentive is for your offer, and then have your email link, sign up.
That's such a great idea. And then I feel like there's so many different ways. You just gave us like so many different ways to build your email list. I honestly thought that the only way was really like in the messaging, when you're messaging back and forth, and when in the box stuffer, because I'm not an Etsy expert. And so, unless I'm bringing in someone who's an Etsy expert, I'm not going to claim to think that I know how to like run an Etsy shop, because I don't. Because I've always been like, build your own brand. Like that's just who I am. And that's my belief. And that's why people come to us. That's the whole thing that we're about here.
Right.
And
And you should though. I mean, you should have your brand. Etsy should just be like just a little piece of
an entire brand strategy.
exactly. It should not be your brand. It shouldn't be your business. Cause I mean, I don't know. Every time I talk to anybody, they're like, oh yeah, I got it on Etsy. They don't remember who they got it from. They're getting it from Etsy. So you got to stand out.
Which is so true. It's so funny because I just had a birthday party as we're recording this a couple weeks ago, and with some of my friends in Utah, and it was a dress up party because that's what we do, like random stuff. And so I was looking for something that would really go with this outfit for my head, and I was like, oh, I bought from this girl once in New York. I saw her in Artisan Flea, and then she had an Etsy shop. And then I'm sitting here trying to rack my brain on the person's name. I'm like, I don't know who this is. I totally forgot. And then like I eventually stumbled across her, and she didn't have what I really wanted, or they couldn't deliver it in time. But at the end of the day, I was just kind of like, I really was looking hard because I thought I wanted something with feathers on it, and she made a lot of stuff with feathers. So long story short, like people don't remember who you are if they're buying from you on Etsy. And so more than ever, it is important now to build a brand. And this is a great way to build traffic also to your website. One of the things that we talk about a lot over here at Flourish and Thrive Academy is that you need a direct to consumer business. You need to be able to reach your customers if the last like 2.5 to 3 years told us anything, this is not going away. This is the most powerful like line of sales right now. And while wholesale and other revenue streams are very important, your online sales have to be a strong core focus of yours. And I hear people and I love talking to Lauren so much because she's always like, well, I never really wanted to do the in-person thing. I just went to online. It's so easy. But most people say online sales are so hard. It's not really that hard. It just requires dedication and a commitment to making it work. So this is a little bit off topic, but I think it's related and I think it would help. Like, how did you get over that hump of like figuring something out and then just doing more of that? Like what was your thought process of like really building your online business?
I honestly I had a goal in mind, and obviously that was to quit my job. And like I researched, I Googled everything. I was like one of those people until I honestly like found the programs and like found like what I actually needed to learn. Like I just was just absorbing whatever I could. And like I think that it's no different than probably learning how to sell at a show or anything. It's just, I mean, it is different. I should say it's not different, but it's not any harder. It's just different. It's learning SEO and learning the tech and all that stuff. But like once you get it and you understand it, it's for me, I don't think that it's very hard. And then I think that as things change, you just kind of learn to roll with the changes. So like,
Yep.
I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, totally. So good. And I loved it when when everyone was going on Etsy strike, and I'm like, Lauren, what's going on? And you looked at it, you're like, well, they're increasing the fee and all these things, and you never really could do these things anyway. But I'm not surprised, and you weren't even ruffled at all about it. You're like, it's just another change that Etsy's going to do.
Yeah. And to be honest, just to touch on fees for a second, like, because everybody is always so like, oh my God, these charge fees, this is fees. Everything everything charges fees. Like no matter what, like even Shopify, even your own website, like even if you were to build your own website from like, I don't know, like scratch, you still are going to pay fees for hosting a domain, like email, like you're still paying fees. Like that's just kind of like the price of selling online.
Yeah.
And it's obviously it's business. So I think that you have to obviously look at your pricing and factor that stuff into it, but fees don't really bother me. Like, I don't know. I think that it is just something you have to deal with. So.
And also smart business owners know that they have to incorporate the fees into their pricing structure. So if you're pricing the right way and you actually know what you're doing and you're thinking through the lens of what we call over here the desire brand effect, like how all the pieces of your business work together to build your audience, to make a sale, to scale what is working and, optimize your business in a way that it can scale and grow, then that's when you're doing it the right way. And I think a lot of people, there was a conversation because you monitor our Thrive by Design group. Someone posted and to be clear, a Thrive by Design Facebook group. We have a Facebook group. If you're not there, you could find it. It's an awesome community that we have for free over there. Someone posted something about her pricing, and like I was skimming through some of the comments, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like there's so many different opinions, and none of them are necessarily right, and they're not necessarily wrong either. But I basically just posted on this person. She's like, this is all handmade, but it looks like a real thing, but it's CZs and base metal or whatever she's making it out of. And I'm just like, you don't have a clear understanding of what your brand's about and how to actually communicate what you're doing. And that's the bigger problem than the actual price that you're charging. Because if you're not clear on that first, how do you expect to build a business or a brand? And that's exactly why we have the programs that we do over at Flourish and Thrive.
Yes, I totally agree with you. And that, just to tie it back into Etsy, like that's a big mindset thing. And I think a lot of people who are on there tend to just look at what other people are selling stuff for, and they just price for like what they just pull a random number, like, oh, these people sell it for this much, but like don't factor in all of the other stuff. And those are the people, though, unfortunately, that aren't going to have businesses when Etsy raises fees or changes things. So,
or the economy changes, or
that.
We're in a really weird time right now. There's a lot of uncertainty, and people are, in a lot of ways, like scared and freaking out. And I always say, like, if you can put your head down during times like these and focus on the things that you can control, which is growing your business, making sales, talking to people, and doing your best. Because at the end of the day, your business might stay flat this year. It might even have a little bit of a dip. It might grow. Like, you don't know. But the only thing that you can control is what you focus on. And so I want everyone listening to this today to take action on what you've learned, start building your email list, empower yourself, especially if you're on Etsy, empower yourself to take control of your outcomes. And if you need help, reach out to us, because that's what we're here for. We can walk you through. We can see through all of the drama, all the mindset stuff that you're like thinking is like life-changing, and we can help you like set a clear path forward.
Yes.
Right, Lauren?
Yes, totally.
And now I'm just going to plug. Oh, go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, get in the group if you're not in there and talk to us. So
exactly. Also, we're having a free masterclass that's coming up. It's called Supercharge Your Online Sales, and it's designed to help you understand how to drive traffic and sales to your website. We're going to walk you through what's working now. We're going to talk about like traffic math, what a lot of people don't understand. I've had this masterclass. I've run it a few times. Actually, we did it last year as well, but I'm changing the content because it's changed since last year. So we're going to be talking about what's working now to drive traffic and sales online on your website. We're going to be talking about conversion strategies and traffic strategies and so much more. And the things that you need to be thinking about, especially if you're someone who is struggling with Etsy but using it as a tool to actually grow the rest of your business, because that's what it should be for. And or you're someone who says to yourself, this is the story you're telling yourself, it's so much easier to just sell in person. It's not necessarily easier, it's just different. And so we want to help you create that offline experience online and help you convert some of those people, just like we talked about today, into online shoppers. And it's not as hard as you think, and we're here to walk you through every step of the way. So if you want to learn more about that, head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/supercharge and save your seat right there. And make sure that you show up live, because we're going to be having some special bonuses, and only the people who show up live get our special traffic math show up live bonus. And it's an incredible one. You will be referencing it all the time. So I think that's it for today. Lauren, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure.
All right.
Thank you so much for watching this episode today. This is Tracy Matthews signing off until next time. If you haven't done so yet, make sure that you pick up a copy of my book, The Desire Brand Effect. Stand out in a saturated market with a timeless jewelry brand. Any of the show notes or things that we spoke about in this episode will also be linked in the caption below. Thanks. Ciao for now.